Within the vast tapestry of universal law lies a truth so magnificent and far-reaching that when fully comprehended and consistently applied, it transforms your entire relationship with reality itself. This truth recognizes that your spoken word is not merely a collection of sounds vibrating through the air, nor simply a means of communication between human beings. Your word carries within it the very essence of divine creative power, the same force that spoke worlds into existence and continues to orchestrate the magnificent dance of creation throughout all dimensions of being. When you speak, you participate in the fundamental creative process of the universe. You become a conscious collaborator with divine mind, wielding the same principle that brought forth light from darkness, order from chaos, and manifestation from the invisible realm of pure potential. Your voice becomes the instrument through which infinite intelligence expresses itself in the physical world, and your words serve as direct commands to the universal mind that governs all manifestation. Every syllable that passes your lips carries vibrational frequency that penetrates far beyond the physical realm, traveling into dimensions where all manifestation begins. These vibrations enter the invisible realm of universal mind, that vast, intelligent, and infinitely responsive substance that underlies all creation. This universal mind operates as the perfect servant, waiting with infinite patience for your clear, unequivocal instruction. It knows no favorites, makes no judgments, and shows no partiality. It simply receives what you decree and, with mathematical precision, begins the process of bringing forth corresponding experiences in your tangible reality. The tongue truly is the scepter, and the lips are the gatekeepers of your destiny. When you declare with faith and conviction, "Money flows to me now from expected and unexpected sources," you have issued a royal edict that flies forth as a bud, messenger to gather your good from near and far. That decree penetrates the invisible realm where all supply exists in unlimited abundance and immediately sets into motion the forces necessary to demonstrate this truth in your physical experience. What some call coincidence, the wise recognize as universal law responding with perfect obedience to your spoken command. Consider the ancient pattern of all creation. First the word, then the world. Sound precedes substance. Decree precedes demonstration. This same principle operates through you when you speak with conscious intention and unwavering faith. Your subconscious mind, which serves as the connecting link between your conscious awareness and universal mind, accepts your spoken words as definitive instructions for what to create in your experience. It does not question the wisdom of your commands or evaluate their feasibility according to current circumstances. It simply begins the work of aligning all your thoughts, actions, and circumstances with your spoken declarations. The vital ingredient that transforms ordinary words into divine decrees is the element of faith-backed conviction. Faith is not mere hope or wishful thinking. It is the unwavering belief, the absolute certainty, that what you have declared is already accomplished in the invisible realm and is now in the process of manifesting in the visible world. It is the feeling of joyful anticipation, the inner knowing that your good is on its way, even before any physical evidence appears to support your declaration. When you speak with this quality of faith, every fiber of your being resonates with the truth of your words. Your entire nervous system aligns with your declaration. Your emotions support your spoken intention, and your actions naturally flow in harmony with what you have decreed. This creates a powerful, unified signal that the universal mind cannot mistake or ignore. The conviction behind your word gives it magnetic force, transforming it from a simple sound into an irresistible attractor that draws to you all the necessary resources, people, and circumstances to fulfill its promise. Without faith, words become hollow repetitions, lacking the spiritual power to activate universal law. Doubt serves as a counter-command, effectively canceling your positive declarations. When you affirm, "I am prosperous," but immediately harbor thoughts of, "But how will it happen? I don't see any way," You send mixed signals to the universal mind. A mixed signal results in mixed manifestation, or often no manifestation at all. This is why the purity of your intention, backed by unwavering faith, becomes paramount to successful demonstration. The universal mind operates according to the law of perfect correspondence, delivering experiences that match exactly the quality, conviction, and faith behind your spoken words. Just as a gardener plants a seed and expects a specific plant to grow, you must expect your spoken word to bear its corresponding fruit. If you consistently declare perfect health with genuine conviction, invisible forces align your physical body and circumstances with that decree. If you speak of financial abundance with unwavering faith, channels open, opportunities appear, and resources flow to you in direct correspondence to the power behind your words. This law operates with complete impartiality, responding to whatever you speak with feeling and conviction, whether those words align with your highest good or perpetuate unwanted conditions. Many people unknowingly create their own limitations by the careless use of their spoken word. They lament their poverty, complain about their health, or criticize their relationships, then wonder why their lives seem trapped in perpetual cycles of these very conditions. They fail to recognize that they are issuing powerful commands for their own suffering, and the universal mind, in its perfect obedience, delivers precisely what has been ordered through speech. Understanding that your words are divine decrees naturally elevates your daily speech, from casual conversation to sacred practice. Every utterance becomes a conscious choice, every statement a deliberate act of creation, every declaration an opportunity to align with your highest good or perpetuate unwanted conditions. You can no longer casually complain about lack, carelessly voice fears about the future, or unconsciously repeat limiting beliefs inherited from others. Begin each day by laying down every anxious thought about your circumstances as you would lay down a heavy burden. Say with deep feeling, I cast this burden of financial worry on the indwelling spirit that knows the way. I am free, and the perfect path is revealed. Having unburdened your soul, speak your word with clarity and authority. Train your mouth to utter only that which you desire to multiply, for words are seeds that fall into the rich soil of universal mind and must sprout after their kind. Replace I can't afford it with the perfect provision for this is now appearing, and I see it with the eyes of faith. Transform money is hard to come by into divine substance rushes to me easily and joyously through channels known and unknown. Practice sacred speech in the small moments. Bless the coin in your hand and whisper over each account, paid in full, increased, and multiplied. When you open your wallet, say, this is the wallet of endless supply. Your word consecrates the common and transforms the ordinary into a channel of unexpected income. Asterisk, asterisk. The rhythm of effective decree. Asterisk, asterisk. There exists a sacred rhythm to effective decree, stillness, release, command, thanksgiving, and silence. Enter the quiet of your inner sanctuary. Cast every burden on the indwelling spirit, speak your word with authority, give thanks as if it were already accomplished, and then maintain expectant silence. The seed does not sprout while the gardener digs it up 20 times a day to check its progress. When doubt whispers, answer once with a firm decree and turn your attention to praise. Guard vigilantly against the chorus of other people's fears and limitations. Well-meaning voices will pronounce famine when abundance is on the way. If their words sting, neutralize them inwardly. That may be true for them, but it is not true for me. I live under divine provision, and my channels are always open. Refuse to lend your tongue to gossip of lack, market tremors, or popular despair. You do not deny the world's weather. You choose a different climate through the conscious use of your creative word. Asterisk, asterisk. The evidence of divine decree in action. Asterisk, asterisk. Stories abound of those who have proved this law through consistent application. A woman who had habitually rehearsed, I can't afford it, found her purse thin and her days anxious. She transformed her speech for a fortnight, declaring each morning and evening, "Unexpected money now finds me. Under grace, through perfect channels, I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right." She blessed her bills with paid in full energy, opened a space on her desk titled New Income, and spoke to it as if it were a living friend. Within 2 weeks, a past client returned with a generous order, a utility company issued a credit for overpayment, and a neighbor purchased items she had long stored away. She marveled, but it was not marvel. It was her decree made visible through the operation of spiritual law. Another, fearful of asking for his worth, whispered apology into every request and received apologetic responses in return. When taught to speak as one who knows his divine value, he began declaring, "I receive my perfect payment now. The money that is mine by right appears swiftly, easily, and in great plenty." He practiced this declaration even while walking to check his mail, and by the time he reached his door, a message had arrived, granting a fee increase he had not dared to propose. His transformed words had lifted his measure, and life rose to meet it. Your word is your wand, your scepter, your key to the treasure house of infinite supply. With it you open storerooms long locked by fear, call rivers of abundance to your roots, and bless both the work of your hands and the work that seeks your hands. Money itself is a servant that hears the voice of command when spoken in the name of divine right. Send it forth with dignity. Go forth and return increased. Circulate through me, for I am a faithful steward. Multiply and bless all whom you touch. If you stumble and speak words of lack, do not fall into regret. Cancel the word at once. I rescind that statement. I speak only abundance, and abundance obeys. Then replace it immediately with a decree of higher truth. This is not pretending. It is consciously electing which law shall govern your affairs. The lower vision parades empty plates. The higher vision lays a feast and invites you to partake. Your tongue chooses the table at which you will dine. Seal each decree with heartfelt thanksgiving. Gratitude serves as the incense that signals completion in the unseen realm. Say with deep feeling, "I give thanks that it is already done," and let that gratitude be the period at the end of your divine command. Then go about your affairs with a light heart, expecting the knock at the door, the note in the mail, the nudge of intuition that says, "Turn here, look there, call now." Obey these promptings swiftly and completely. Your spoken decree sets the angels of abundance to flight. Your obedient action lays out the landing strip for their arrival. In this sacred partnership between your conscious word and divine response, you discover that speaking is not merely communication but creation itself. Every word becomes an opportunity to demonstrate your divine nature, to prove your connection to infinite supply, and to witness the magnificent responsiveness of a universe that waits upon your every decree with perfect love and infinite patience. There exists within the very foundation of reality a truth so magnificent and transformative that when fully grasped and consistently applied, it dissolves every fear about money and establishes you in a consciousness of perpetual abundance. This truth reveals that your supply does not originate from the limited reservoirs of human effort, the fluctuating tides of economic conditions, or the uncertain promises of worldly systems, but flows from an inexhaustible, unlimited source that transcends all material limitations and operates according to spiritual law rather than earthly circumstances. The world presents a narrative of scarcity, teaching that resources are finite, opportunities limited, and financial security dependent upon external factors beyond your control. This perspective, however, represents a profound illusion woven from human fear and short-sightedness. The divine source from which all creation springs is by its very nature infinite and boundless, the wellspring of all good, the perpetual fountain that never runs dry. To imagine that this source, which orchestrates galaxies and sustains entire ecosystems, could be limited in its capacity to provide for your individual needs, is to fundamentally misunderstand its omnipotent nature. The living reality of divine substance, behind all visible manifestation, lies an invisible, intelligent substance that serves as the foundation from which all material things emerge. This divine substance is not material in nature, yet it is the source of all materiality. It is pure intelligence, pure love, pure abundance, existing in unlimited quantity and seeking always to express itself through form. This substance responds instantly to spiritual law, particularly to faith, spoken word, and aligned consciousness, operating with mathematical precision to deliver experiences that correspond exactly to your mental and spiritual alignment. Divine substance flows like an invisible river perpetually toward you, and your beliefs, words, and expectations determine the width of your receiving channel. Some maintain a narrow trickle by speaking of shortage, rehearsing fears, and clutching at material things as if they were the last drops of water in a desert. Others widen the river into a mighty stream by blessing their current means, declaring infinite provision, and opening fresh gates through right action and cheerful circulation. The river responds to the tone of your consciousness. A heart singing of plenty attracts plenty, while a heart rehearsing loss draws more of what it fears. This substance takes the exact shape of your mental equivalent. If your mental equivalent of money is heavy, scarce, and difficult to obtain, substance obliges and hardens around that belief, creating corresponding experiences of struggle and limitation. If your mental equivalent is light, joyous, and ever-increasing, substance quickens and multiplies accordingly, manifesting as ease, flow, and continuous increase. You have the power to set a clear mental equivalent of generous inflow, effortless circulation, and seamless right action, thereby providing the spiritual blueprint upon which substance builds your financial reality. Money as divine idea, seeking expression. Money in its truest essence is not paper, metal, or digital numbers in an account, but a divine idea, a perfect concept in divine mind that seeks endless expression through countless channels and forms. Like all divine ideas, it multiplies through sharing rather than diminishing, grows stronger through circulation rather than weaker, and expands through generous expression rather than contracting. When you understand money as crystallized, divine substance made manifest in a form that facilitates exchange, you strip away the negative connotations and fears that often surround it, transforming it from an object of struggle into a sacred instrument of blessing. As a divine idea, money is not limited to any particular pathway of manifestation. It can appear as salary, profit, gifts, inheritance, found objects, returned items, refunds, bonuses, opportunities, brilliant inspirations, or through completely unexpected and unprecedented channels that human logic could never anticipate. This understanding liberates you from dependence on specific sources and opens you to receive from an infinite variety of channels, each one perfectly orchestrated by divine intelligence to deliver your good at precisely the right moment and in exactly the right way. The inexhaustible nature of true supply, the divine source operates according to principles that are entirely foreign to material thinking. While earthly resources appear finite and subject to depletion, divine supply is infinite and self-renewing. The more you draw from this source with faith and gratitude, the more abundantly it flows. The more you circulate what comes through you with wisdom and blessing, the wider the channel becomes for even greater supply. This is why those who understand spiritual law often discover that their periods of greatest giving coincide with their periods of greatest receiving. Consider the nature of ideas, which provides the clearest analogy for understanding divine supply. When you share a brilliant idea with another person, you do not lose the idea, both of you possess it fully. When that person shares it with 10 others, and they with 10 more, the idea multiplies exponentially without anyone experiencing loss. In fact, the idea often returns to you enhanced, refined, and more powerful than when you first gave it out. This is the nature of all supply that flows from divine source. It multiplies through circulation, grows stronger through sharing, and increases through generous expression. Divine supply operates according to the law of circulation, which states that what flows out must flow back, multiplied and increased. This law governs all of life. The breath you exhale returns as fresh oxygen, the love you give returns as increased love, the service you provide returns as greater opportunities to serve. Money follows this same principle when you understand its spiritual nature and work with it according to divine law rather than human limitation. Transcending economic conditions and material limitations. One of the most liberating aspects of understanding infinite supply through divine source is the recognition that your prosperity operates under a higher law that transcends material conditions. While others may experience lack during times of economic uncertainty, those who are connected to divine supply often find these periods to be times of greatest opportunity and demonstration. This occurs not because they are immune to economic laws, but because they operate under spiritual law, which supersedes and overrules material appearances. Divine supply flows according to consciousness, faith, and spiritual alignment rather than market conditions, employment rates, or global financial trends. When your consciousness is firmly established in the truth of infinite abundance, you become a magnet for opportunity, even in the midst of apparent scarcity. You discover bargains when others find high prices, uncover opportunities when others see obstacles, and attract resources when others experience shortage. This is not luck or coincidence, but the natural operation of spiritual law responding to your aligned consciousness. Your supply is spiritual before it becomes material. Money is not your source. Money is merely a channel through which the source expresses itself. Jobs, clients, investments, and sales are channels that can change, expand, or close, but the source remains forever constant and available. Those who make channels their source tremble when channels appear threatened. Those who recognize the one unfailing source remain calm and confident, while channels rearrange themselves to deliver good in new and often superior ways. The law of magnetic attraction and expectant faith. When you truly align your consciousness with the truth of infinite supply, you activate a powerful law of magnetic attraction that draws money and all forms of good directly to you. This attraction operates through the spiritual principle of expectant faith, that joyful, unwavering anticipation that knows your good is already yours in the invisible realm and is now making its way into visible manifestation. Cultivate the expectant consciousness of one who knows beyond doubt that supply is flowing toward them from multiple directions. This expectation is not passive hoping but active, vibrant faith that creates a welcoming atmosphere for your good. It is the quiet confidence that sets a place at the table for abundance, opens an account for unexpected income, and prepares to receive from sources not yet revealed to human sight. The law of demand and receive operates within this magnetic field of expectation. Demand, in its sacred sense, is not a tantrum of human will, but a dignified claim upon what is yours by divine right. When you require a certain sum, quietly set your spiritual demand. This amount now manifests for me swiftly, easily, and in perfect ways. Then prepare a place for its arrival by creating the invoice, clearing the bank account, opening the file labeled New Income, and deciding how you will steward the funds when they appear. This preparation declares faith, and faith draws forms as surely as the moon calls the tides. Consciousness, preparation, and spiritual alignment. To receive from infinite supply, your consciousness must expand to accommodate unlimited good. Most people have been conditioned to think in terms of just enough or barely adequate, creating correspondingly limited experiences. Divine supply seeks to pour itself out in lavish abundance, but it can only flow through consciousness that is prepared to receive it without guilt, fear, or the belief that such abundance is somehow inappropriate or undeserved. Begin to think in terms of more than enough, overflowing abundance, and unlimited supply for unlimited good. Practice expanding your vision of what is possible for your financial life. Instead of asking for just enough money to meet your obligations, open your consciousness to abundant supply that allows you to pay all bills joyously while having plenty remaining to save, invest, and share generously. This expansion of consciousness is not wishful thinking, but necessary preparation for receiving greater good, for a consciousness that thinks in terms of limitation cannot receive unlimited supply. The vacuum law of prosperity works in harmony with this expanded consciousness. Where there is room, more comes. Release what is no longer needed: unused possessions, stagnant projects, and most importantly, limiting beliefs that whisper, "It cannot happen for me." Create space in your life, your thoughts, and your environment for new good to enter. As you release with blessing what has completed its purpose, declare, "I create a vacuum for my perfect good, and the universe fills it with exactly what I need for my highest expression." Practical alignment through right action and grateful reception. While supply originates from divine source, it frequently manifests through human channels and opportunities. An intuitive nudge to make a call, send an email, organize your finances, or pursue a new skill often represents the landing strip prepared by divine intelligence for your incoming good. Obedience to these inner promptings is crucial, for they are the directions given by universal mind to guide you to your next demonstration of abundance. Support your spiritual alignment with practical order. Honor the source by keeping clean channels through which it can flow. Reconcile your accounts, organize your files, clear your workspace. As you create order, affirm, "I prepare a place for abundance," and abundance fills it. Order attracts supply, while chaos repels it. The river of abundance enjoys channels that are well kept and banks that are clearly marked. Gratitude serves as the currency of the spiritual realm and the magnetic force that draws more good into your experience. Give thanks before you see physical evidence, and you will see what you have thanked for. Express gratitude for money in circulation, for money on its way, for money you have yet to imagine. Thank for paid in full accounts, for overflowing opportunities, for perfect right work, for brilliant ideas, for timely assistance. The grateful heart declares, "I already live in the atmosphere of plenty," and substance crystallizes around that atmosphere of appreciation. Divine ingenuity and unexpected channels. The universe possesses infinite wisdom and countless ingenious methods to deliver your supply, often through channels that exceed human logic and conventional thinking. Be prepared for delightful surprises as your good appears through avenues you never considered. Perhaps a forgotten refund emerges from an old file. A past client suddenly remembers your services. A skill you had shelved becomes the perfect solution to a present opportunity. Or a check travels a circuitous route only to arrive precisely when you have aligned your consciousness with receiving. This divine ingenuity operates through what appears to be coincidence, but is actually the natural orchestration of spiritual law. There exists a magnificent choreography of good that swings into motion the moment you align your consciousness with infinite supply. Your role is not to figure out the how, but to maintain the spiritual conditions that allow this choreography to unfold. Faith instead of doubt, expectation instead of worry, gratitude instead of complaint, and action instead of hesitation when inner guidance directs your steps. Speak to money as a willing servant of divine good, welcoming it with dignity, putting it to righteous work, and sending it forth with blessing to return increased. Money appreciates appreciation and responds to respectful treatment. Count it with joy. Circulate it with wisdom. Receive it without apology. When you handle money, remember you are handling crystallized divine substance and treat it with the reverence due to all expressions of the sacred source from which it flows. Living from the finished work, the highest understanding of infinite supply through divine source recognizes that your abundance already exists as completed reality in the spiritual realm. Your work is not to create supply, but to align your consciousness with what already is, to remove the mental and emotional barriers that obstruct its flow, and to prepare yourself to receive what divine love has already prepared for your enjoyment and stewardship. Live as one who knows that every need is already met, every desire already fulfilled, every channel already open in the invisible realm where all manifestation begins. When appearances suggest otherwise, hold fast to this higher truth, for appearances are always the last to conform to spiritual reality. Do not dig up the seed of your faith to examine its progress. Instead, water it daily with grateful acknowledgement, tend it with loving expectation, and trust the invisible process that brings all good things to fruition in their perfect time. Dedicate your supply to noble purpose, for money loves assignment and multiplies where it is given meaningful work. Decide what great good your abundance shall serve: family well-being, creative expression, charitable work, beautiful surroundings, spiritual advancement. Give your money a mission, and it will fulfill that mission while drawing to itself the resources necessary for even greater service. Through every transaction, remember that you are not dealing with limited material substance, but with infinite divine supply, which knows no depletion and recognizes no impossibility when approached with faith, gratitude, and aligned consciousness. Within the realm of spiritual law operates a principle so magnificent and transformative that when properly understood and consistently applied, it becomes the very foundation upon which all successful manifestation rests. This principle is faith-based expectation, not the passive hoping of the uncertain heart, nor the anxious wishing of the doubtful mind, but the unwavering belief coupled with joyful anticipation that creates an irresistible magnetic force, drawing your desired good directly to you with mathematical precision and divine timing. Faith-based expectation is the silent music of the soul that summons forms to its rhythm, the inner knowing that what you have declared in consciousness is already accomplished in the invisible realm and is now making its way into visible manifestation. It is expectation fused with absolute faith, creating a spiritual magnet that operates continuously, broadcasting a clear signal into the universe and compelling all necessary resources, people, and circumstances to align with your heart's desire. The spiritual science of magnetic attraction. This magnetic force operates through the fundamental law of vibrational correspondence, which recognizes that like attracts like in the invisible realm of consciousness. When your expectation is pure, unwavering, and backed by genuine faith, it creates a specific vibrational frequency that resonates with the very thing you desire. This resonance acts as a spiritual beacon, broadcasting your readiness to receive and drawing to you all the necessary elements for manifestation through channels both seen and unseen. The magnetic attraction works through what may be understood as your mental equivalent, the sum total of your beliefs, expectations, and emotional patterns regarding your desired good. If your mental equivalent of money carries vibrations of struggle, scarcity, and difficulty, you create a magnetic field that attracts corresponding experiences of life, financial challenge. However, when you develop a mental equivalent of ease, abundance, and joyful receiving, your consciousness becomes an irresistible magnet for experiences that match this elevated expectation. This is why you must believe to see, rather than waiting to see before you believe. Your faith-based expectation creates the energetic blueprint, the vibrational template that universal mind recognizes and responds to with perfect precision. When you vibrate at the frequency of already having, the universe, in its perfect obedience, rearranges circumstances to deliver that which matches your inner conviction. Unwavering belief as the foundation. The bedrock of faith-based expectation is unwavering belief, not intellectual acceptance that can be shaken by contrary evidence, but the deep, soul-level knowing that remains constant regardless of appearances. This belief transcends logical reasoning or current circumstances, drawing its power from recognition of an infinite, unfailing source that knows no limitations. When you believe without wavering, you send a clear, unambiguous signal to universal mind, declaring your readiness and worthiness to receive. Unwavering belief is like a compass that holds steadfast to true north regardless of magnetic interference. It is the quiet confidence that settles deep within your being, freeing you from the need to manipulate circumstances or force outcomes. This belief must be pure, unmixed with doubt or contradiction, for a mixed signal produces mixed results, or often no results at all. Consider the farmer who plants seeds with complete confidence in the invisible process of growth. He does not doubt that the seed contains the full potential of the plant, nor does he anxiously dig up the ground each day to check progress. Instead, he plants with joy, tends with care, and expects the harvest with serene certainty. Your spoken word, backed by unwavering belief, is a seed planted in universal mind, and like the 40 farmer's seed, it must be allowed to germinate and grow without interference from doubt or impatience. Expectation, in its highest form, is not a mood that comes and goes with circumstances, but a conscious decision you make each morning, like choosing what to wear. You clothe your mind in assurance, anoint your day with the oil of glad readiness, and greet your hours with the attitude of one who has already been answered and is simply walking to the appointed place of delivery. Joyful anticipation as creative accelerator, coupled with unwavering belief, is the powerful emotion of joyful anticipation, that pure, unburdened excitement that acts as a creative accelerator, amplifying your magnetic field and drawing your desired good with remarkable speed. This is not the anxious excitement of hoping something might happen, but the serene joy of knowing something wonderful is already on its way to you. Think of a child eagerly awaiting a birthday celebration. Their anticipation is pure, filled with delight and absolute certainty. They do not wonder if the gifts will arrive. They know they will, and they revel in the joyous expectation. This childlike quality of anticipation opens the floodgates of abundance because it operates from the consciousness of already having rather than needing. Joyful anticipation has a distinct feeling tone, light, buoyant, and quietly sure. It does not strain or bargain with the universe. It does not consult appearances or negotiate with circumstances. It holds to truth the way a compass holds to north, singing before the harvest and dancing before the music is audible to ordinary ears. You can cultivate this feeling by living in the end result, feeling the emotions associated with your desire fulfilled, and expressing gratitude for what is already yours in the invisible realm. This positive emotional state acts like a beacon of light, attracting more positive experiences and resources into your life. Joy is one of the highest vibrational frequencies in the spectrum of human emotion, and when combined with expectation, it creates an irresistible, attractive force that the universe cannot ignore. Practice living in the feeling of the answered prayer, maintaining an attitude of pleasant anticipation as if you are expecting a delightful surprise at any moment. The blocking power of doubt and fear. Just as faith-based expectation creates magnetic attraction, doubt and fear create equally powerful repelling forces that push away the very things you desire. Doubt acts as a spiritual eraser, canceling out the magnetic force of positive expectation with every whisper of "what if it doesn't work?" or "it's too good to be true." Fear creates dense, heavy energy that resonates with lack and limitation, thereby attracting more of what you fear into your experience. Doubt is the only thief that can steal your good, the fog that blurs your beacon and confuses your signal to the universe. It arrives dressed in reasonable questions and well-meaning concerns, hoping to sit on the throne of your consciousness and issue its own limiting decrees. When doubt knocks at the door of your mind, refuse it hospitality. Answer immediately with a stronger word. I refuse this picture. I choose radiant expectation. My supply is sure, immediate, and unfailing. Fear operates as an even more potent blocking agent, creating vibrational resistance that repels abundance. When you operate from fear of lack, failure, or unworthiness, you inadvertently attract experiences that validate those fears, for universal mind, in its impartial service, delivers whatever you focus on with strong emotion. The challenge lies in recognizing these insidious thoughts and consciously choosing to replace them with faith-filled expectations. Develop the practice of mental vigilance, guarding your consciousness as carefully as you would guard a precious treasure. When negative thoughts arise, do not wrestle with them or give them power through attention. Instead, immediately replace them with positive affirmations and return to the feeling of joyful expectation. This conscious redirection of mental and emotional energy is crucial for maintaining a clear channel through which abundance can flow. Opening all channels for manifestation. When faith-based expectation is firmly established in consciousness, it opens all channels for your desired good to flow. It removes the subconscious resistance that often limits manifestation to what seems logical or possible according to human standards. The universe, being infinitely creative, is not bound by your limited understanding of how things should appear. It can bring your good through countless unexpected avenues, often surprising you with divine ingenuity that exceeds your highest imagination. This magnetic force works by aligning you with opportunities, people, and resources that resonate with your expectant vibration. You might suddenly receive an unexpected phone call with a perfect opportunity, encounter someone with exactly what you need, discover a forgotten asset, or receive an intuitive inspiration that leads to increased income. These are not coincidences, but the universe responding to your clear, unwavering signal. Your inner state of expectation prepares you to recognize and act upon these opportunities when they appear. A consciousness clouded by doubt might dismiss them as irrelevant or impossible, but expectant faith creates the mental clarity to see divine appointments and the courage to act upon them swiftly. Prepare for your good by creating physical space for it. Open a new account, clear your workspace, organize your files, and set up systems to handle increased abundance. The daily discipline of expectant living faith-based expectation is not a technique to be used occasionally but a way of life to be practiced consistently. Begin each day by setting your expectation for good while your consciousness is still soft and receptive. Before your feet touch the floor, plant seeds of positive expectation. Today brings perfect opportunities for increased income. Today I am guided to my greater good. Today, unexpected money finds me easily and joyfully. Throughout the day, maintain an attitude of pleasant expectancy. When checking your mail, expect good news. When answering the phone, anticipate pleasant surprises. When meeting new people, expect them to bring opportunities or blessings into your life. This is not naive optimism, but conscious cooperation with spiritual law, which responds to the quality of your expectation with corresponding demonstrations. Create physical reminders of your expectant consciousness. Set a place at your table for abundance, open a file for new income, prepare a space in your wallet for increased money. These physical acts declare your faith to the universe and help maintain your expectation even when appearances suggest otherwise. They serve as anchors for your 4D wise consciousness, keeping you aligned with positive expectation regardless of temporary circumstances. Guard your conversations carefully, for expectation dissolves when you lend your tongue to rehearsals of lack and dire predictions. If others insist on discussing shortage, answer inwardly, "That is not my story. My story is perpetual increase." The atmosphere you maintain through your words and thoughts is your primary wealth, worth more than any single transaction because it produces transactions continuously. Living in answered prayer consciousness. The highest form of faith-based expectation is living in the consciousness of answered prayer, conducting yourself as if your desires have already been fulfilled in the invisible realm and are now making their way into visible form. This consciousness does not anxiously await results, but rests in the quiet confidence of knowing that what has been set in motion through faith-filled expectation must come to pass according to spiritual law. When you live in answered prayer consciousness, you naturally make decisions from the place of having rather than wanting. You plan from abundance rather than lack, speak from confidence rather than hope, and act from certainty rather than desperation. This shift in consciousness creates a powerful magnetic field that accelerates manifestation and often brings results far exceeding your original expectations. Practice expectant gratitude by giving thanks in advance for what you have not yet seen but know is yours. Express gratitude for money that is on its way to you, for opportunities being prepared, for people who will soon enter your life with gifts and blessings. This advanced gratitude bridges the gap between desire and manifestation, creating a consciousness that lives in the fulfilled wish before the fulfillment appears in physical form. Maintain this consciousness by refusing to be moved by contrary appearances. When the bank balance appears insufficient, remember that your supply is spiritual before it becomes material. When opportunities seem scarce, recall that infinite intelligence is preparing perfect channels for your good. When others speak of hard times, silently bless them while maintaining your own consciousness of abundance and expectation. Building momentum through successful demonstration. Each successful demonstration of faith-based expectation builds momentum for even greater manifestations. As you prove the law in small ways, your capacity for unwavering faith in larger demonstrations grows stronger. The parking space that appears when expected, the unexpected refund that arrives when anticipated, the perfect opportunity that manifests when confidently awaited all serve to strengthen your faith and expand your capacity for magnetic expectation. Keep a record of your successful expectations, noting the hour of your decree and the hour of its appearance, however modest. These victories serve as evidence of the law's reliability and fuel for your faith in future demonstrations. As you review these records, your confidence in the process grows, and your ability to maintain unwavering expectation for larger good increases proportionally. Use each success as a stepping stone to greater expectation. If you successfully expected $50, stretch your consciousness to expect $500. If you magnetized one opportunity, expand your expectation to draw multiple opportunities. The law has no limits except those imposed by your own consciousness, so continually expand your capacity to expect, receive, and steward greater good. Practice the threefold movement of expectant faith daily. Decree with authority, prepare with joy, and praise with gratitude. In the morning, speak your word as a sovereign. I now expect perfect money miracles today, clean, clear, quick, and kind under grace and in perfect ways. Throughout the day, take right action with extraordinary gladness, for gladness is oil to the machinery of manifestation. In the evening, list the arrivals, however modest, and give thanks aloud, for your voice is a bell that rings your gratitude throughout the invisible realm. The ripple effect of magnetic expectation. When you consistently live in faith-based expectation, you create ripple effects that extend far beyond your personal experience. Your expectant consciousness becomes a blessing to everyone around you, for you naturally expect good for others as well as yourself. You become a magnet, not only for your own prosperity, but for opportunities that benefit your family, friends, and community. Others are drawn to your expectant energy because it lifts their own consciousness and reminds them of possibilities they had forgotten. Your unwavering faith in good outcomes becomes contagious, inspiring others to raise their own expectations and align with greater possibilities. Practice expecting wonderful things for everyone you encounter. For what you celebrate, you accelerate, and Generous expectation for others strengthens your own magnetic force. Keep company with expectancy until it becomes your native climate. Correcting your posture when you slump toward worry, lifting your chin when delay tries to shame you, warming your hands when appearances are cold. Train the edges of your speech until every sentence carries a current of invitation, and soon money and its companions, ideas, allies, open doors will feel your welcome and come readily because you have become to them what the lighthouse is to ships. A steady signal, shining, unwavering, and sure. Within the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all creation lies a wisdom so vast, so magnificently creative, that it surpasses human understanding by immeasurable degrees. This divine ingenuity operates as the master choreographer of all manifestation, possessing countless methods, pathways, and channels through which your good can reach you, methods that often exceed the boundaries of logical thinking and conventional expectation. When you align your consciousness with this unlimited intelligence and speak your word with unwavering faith, you step into a sacred partnership where supply arrives through doors you never noticed, windows you never opened, and pathways you would not have dared to design. The first great revelation in understanding divine ingenuity is the crucial distinction between source and channels. Source is singular, unfailing, and infinite, the inexhaustible wellspring from which all good flows. Channels, however, are numerous, temporary, and completely interchangeable. Your job, your business, your clients, your investments, and your various income streams are blessed channels, sacred conduits, through which your good flows, but they are never the source itself. When a channel appears to close or diminish, the untrained mind proclaims disaster and loss, but the wise heart recognizes this as divine rerouting, understanding that the eternal river of supply simply curls around any temporary obstacle and continues its destined journey toward you. Most people severely limit their receiving by insisting that their supply must come through familiar, predictable channels. They expect money only through their salary, their established business, or their known investments. While these channels may indeed serve as conduits for abundance, restricting your expectation to conventional pathways severely limits the universe's ability to demonstrate its infinite creativity on your behalf. This limitation stems from the illusion that supply originates from material channels rather than from the boundless source that lies behind all channels. When you believe your job is your source, you become anxious when that position appears threatened. When you imagine your business is your source, you worry when sales fluctuate. This limited thinking creates unnecessary anxiety and actually constricts the flow of abundance by closing your consciousness to the myriad, alternative channels through which your good might appear. The magnificent orchestration of universal mind being the source of all invention, innovation, and creative expression, operates according to principles that transcend human logic and conventional thinking. Where the human mind perceives obstacles, universal intelligence recognizes opportunities. Where limited thinking declares impossibility, divine mind sees infinite potential. This cosmic creativity works continuously to arrange circumstances, coordinate timing, and orchestrate events in ways that bring about the perfect fulfillment of your faith-filled expectations through the most ingenious and often surprising methods. Consider the intricate ways this intelligence orchestrated the creation of a single flower. It did not simply place a beautiful bloom upon the earth, but devised an elaborate system involving seeds, soil, rain, sunshine, seasons, and countless other elements working in perfect harmony to produce the desired result. Similarly, when you plant the seed of a financial need or desire in consciousness through faith-filled declaration, universal mind immediately begins orchestrating all the necessary elements to bring about its fulfillment, often through a complex web of seemingly unrelated events that culminate in your perfect supply appearing through channels you never imagined. Divine ingenuity delights in the unexpected. often delivering your good through sources so creatively arranged that they serve as constant reminders of the magnificent resourcefulness of the universe. One declares with faith, "I am open to perfect supply now," and a refund long forgotten makes its pilgrimage home to their mailbox. Another blesses her accounts with paid in full energy, and a vendor, reviewing records, discovers an overcharge and issues a credit with apologies and interest. A writer releases financial worry through spiritual decree, and a foreign publisher requests reprint rights, delivering a check he had never conceived possible. What appears as coincidence to the casual observer is actually spiritual law wearing its most charming disguise. The endless variety of unexpected channels. The manifestations of divine ingenuity through unexpected channels are as varied as they are delightful. Forgotten debts are suddenly repaid, often with interest, by someone who felt an inexplicable urge to settle old accounts. Utility companies issue credits for overpayments you did not realize you had made. You literally find money, a $20 bill on the sidewalk, a forgotten stash in an old coat pocket, a valuable coin collection discovered in a neglected drawer. Someone gives you a substantial gift of money for no apparent reason, or your employer issues an unexpected bonus or commission that exceeds all normal patterns. Unexpected inheritances appear from distant relatives you barely knew, lottery tickets purchased on impulse yield surprising returns, or investments you had completely forgotten suddenly appreciate dramatically in value. Brilliant ideas and inspirations flash into consciousness, leading to new products, services, or business ventures that generate significant income through pathways you never previously considered. You meet someone by chance who has the exact opportunity, connection, or resource you need, or who becomes a client or customer in ways that seemed impossible just moments before the encounter. Hidden assets reveal themselves as old items you own suddenly appreciate in value, or you discover latent talents that can be monetized in the current marketplace. You find exactly what you need at significantly reduced prices, receive unlooked-for discounts on major purchases, or discover that debts have been unexpectedly forgiven or expenses suddenly eliminated through new circumstances beyond your control or planning. The sacred art of releasing the how. One of the greatest obstacles to experiencing divine ingenuity is the human tendency to mentally trace the logical steps for desired manifestation. The moment you begin figuring out the how, you inadvertently limit the universe to your finite understanding, reducing the boundless creativity of divine mind to the narrow confines of your own experience and knowledge. Insistence on specific channels tightens the flow like a tourniquet applied to the river of abundance. The anxious mind declares, "It must come through this job, this client, this contract," thereby condemning the infinite to a single lane of expression. To fully embrace divine ingenuity, you must learn the sacred art of releasing the how while maintaining crystal clarity about the what, your desired end result. Once you have declared your word with faith and conviction, release it completely into universal mind, trusting that perfect channels, both known and unknown, will be orchestrated for its manifestation. Speak the liberating decree. If not this, something better. I do not limit the holy to my narrow plan. My good comes easily, legally, lovingly, and in perfect ways. With that release, you untie the spiritual parcel and allow the gift to present itself in whatever delightful wrapping divine intelligence chooses. This release of the how represents an act of profound trust, declaring to the universe, "I know what I desire, and I trust your infinite wisdom to bring it to me in the most perfect, harmonious, and often surprising way." This act of spiritual surrender creates a vacuum that divine ingenuity rushes to fill, often with solutions far more elegant and effective than anything your limited human planning could have conceived. Cultivating receptivity to divine promptings. Divine ingenuity frequently communicates through subtle inner promptings, intuitive nudges, and sudden inspirations that serve as the courier system of universal intelligence. Intuition speaks in quiet hunches. Call now, turn left, revisit that proposal, pull that book from the one shelf, send a note to this person. These gentle leadings are not random thoughts but precise directions from universal mind, guiding you to the exact place and time where your good awaits. Obedience to these promptings must be swift and complete, for the most delicate opportunities often dissolve when handled with hesitation or doubt. Develop heightened spiritual alertness, the ability to perceive the hand of divine intelligence in seemingly ordinary events. When someone mentions a particular subject 3 times in 1 week, pay attention with the understanding that this repetition may represent divine emphasis. When you repeatedly encounter the same opportunity from different sources, consider it a divine nudge toward a channel that is opening for your benefit. When an unusual idea persists in your consciousness, despite your attempts to dismiss it, explore its potential with the recognition that persistence often indicates divine origin. A woman felt the inner nudge to organize a neglected drawer and uncovered a gift card of considerable value, waiting like a small treasure in the darkness of forgetfulness. Another felt prompted to message a former colleague and, within the hour, received an offer that perfectly matched a need she had not voiced aloud to anyone. These are not mere coincidences, but demonstrations of divine ingenuity working through receptive consciousness that recognizes and acts upon spiritual guidance. The harmonious dance of right action and divine orchestration. While divine intelligence orchestrates the overall arrangement of circumstances, your willing cooperation through right action serves as an essential component in the complete manifestation of unexpected supply. Universal mind may arrange for the perfect opportunity to appear, but you must possess the spiritual discernment to recognize it and the faith-filled courage to act upon it promptly. Divine ingenuity works through you as much as for you, using your hands, voice, and movement as instruments in its creative process. There exists a sacred law of substitution operating within divine ingenuity. If what you seek seems delayed in one form, a superior form is advancing toward you. The closed door is never the final verdict, but rather the hinge upon which a larger door swings open. When disappointment whispers of defeat, answer with the decree. This denial is redirection, not rejection. My greater good arrives now, and I recognize it with joy. You may discover a desired contract withdrawn, only to find, within days, that an introduction brings a superior arrangement lighter, kinder, more profitable, and infused with the joy that accompanies all demonstrations that arrive under grace. Order serves as a powerful magnet for unexpected increase, creating the spiritual landing strip upon which divine ingenuity can deliver your good. Put your financial affairs in good repair, organize receipts, reconcile accounts, locate misplaced assets, and create systems capable of handling increased abundance. One person, after organizing a long-neglected account, discovered unclaimed funds awaiting simple verification. Another, while reconciling old records, found insurance benefits owed from a policy forgotten for years. Divine ingenuity appreciates a tidy workspace and responds more readily when you demonstrate readiness through practical preparation. The recognition of divine appointments and synchronicity. Synchronicity, the meaningful coincidence of events that appear divinely timed, serves as one of the primary languages through which divine intelligence communicates its orchestrations to your conscious awareness. When you begin recognizing synchronistic patterns in your life, you witness visible evidence of invisible orchestration working on your behalf. These patterns serve as confirmation that divine intelligence actively arranges your good through unexpected channels that often exceed your highest imagination. There operates a sacred law of recognition within divine ingenuity. Supply may be standing directly in front of you, cleverly disguised as an ordinary errand, an overlooked message, or a casual conversation. Train your inner ear to the tone of, "Yes, this is it." When that feeling of rightness arrives, act immediately and completely. A shopkeeper mentions overstock, and you recognize a wholesale opportunity waiting to be claimed. A neighbor speaks of a storage problem, and you realize your unused garage space can become a dignified income stream. A friend laments a task they dislike, and you perceive that your natural skill perfectly matches their pressing need. Divine appointments often appear disguised as ordinary encounters or routine events. The person sitting beside you on a plane may carry the key to your next opportunity. The book that falls from a shelf may contain exactly the information needed for your next demonstration. The delay that seems inconvenient may position you perfectly for an unexpected blessing that could not have occurred without that precise timing. The multiplication principle and circulation law, divine ingenuity frequently operates through the principle of multiplication, where small, unexpected sources combine to create significant abundance. A modest refund here, a small opportunity there, a forgotten asset discovered elsewhere. These seemingly minor channels combine to produce substantial supply when orchestrated by divine intelligence. This multiplication demonstrates how the universe employs every available channel, regardless of size, to deliver your perfect provision according to the magnitude of your faith and expectation. Money itself operates according to the law of circulation, growing weary when hoarded in fear, but rejoicing when circulated with wisdom and blessing. Send your dollars forth as messengers with the decree. Go forth, bless all whom you meet, and return to me increased and multiplied, under grace and in perfect ways. What you circulate, with joy establishes roots that money remembers, creating pathways through which greater abundance can flow. The generous tip that brightens a worker's day may circle back as an unexpected referral. The gift shared with a friend may return as a partnership opportunity. The donation offered to a worthy cause may ripen into doors of opportunity that no amount of money could have purchased directly. Gratitude as the universal channel opener. Gratitude serves as the master key that opens all channels of unexpected supply. Acting as both the currency of the spiritual realm and the magnetic force that draws more ingenious demonstrations into your experience. When you express genuine appreciation for past manifestations of divine ingenuity, you create a powerful, attractive field that encourages even more creative demonstrations of supply through surprising sources. Gratitude signals to universal mind that you recognize and value its creative work on your behalf, inspiring continued and expanded orchestrations of abundance. Express gratitude not only for major demonstrations, but also for the small, unexpected blessings that appear daily in countless forms. Thank for the parking space that opened at the perfect moment, the helpful information that arrived precisely when needed, the chance encounter that brightened your day and opened new possibilities. These expressions of appreciation for seemingly minor orchestrations increase your consciousness's sensitivity to divine ingenuity and create channels for even greater demonstrations. Practice advanced gratitude for the unexpected channels that are being arranged for your benefit even now, in this very moment. Give thanks for perfect opportunities being prepared behind the scenes, for helpful people being guided into your life, for creative solutions being developed by divine intelligence, specifically for your unique situation. This advanced gratitude demonstrates unwavering faith in divine ingenuity and creates optimal consciousness for receiving from the surprising channels that are continuously opening to deliver your perfect good. Living in wonder and sacred expectancy. The consciousness that attracts the most ingenious demonstrations of unexpected supply lives in constant wonder and joyful expectancy regarding the creative ways divine intelligence might work. This consciousness approaches each day as a sacred adventure, curious to discover what delightful surprises the universe has arranged through its infinite ingenuity. It maintains childlike wonder that perceives magic in the ordinary and recognizes the extraordinary within seemingly mundane circumstances. Cultivate the attitude of pleasant anticipation regarding unexpected manifestations. Wake each morning wondering what delightful surprise the day might bring through channels you have never considered, Check your mail with expectation of pleasant news arriving from sources that will amaze you. Answer your phone, anticipating opportunities that will exceed your current imagination. Meet new people with awareness that they might be bearers of unexpected blessings, orchestrated by divine intelligence for your perfect good. Treat money as a courteous messenger rather than a demanding master, greeting it when it arrives, assigning it noble tasks, and releasing it with blessing to return increased and multiplied. Money appreciates appreciation and responds favorably to respectful treatment. Handle it with joy, count it with gratitude, and circulate it with wisdom, always remembering that you are stewarding crystallized divine substance that seeks to bless through its movement and multiplication. The sacred partnership of trust and receptivity. Remember that the same intelligence that coordinates the movement of planets and orchestrates the changing of seasons works continuously to coordinate the perfect delivery of your supply through channels that will surprise and delight you beyond measure. Hold firmly to the central decree that opens all unexpected channels. I do not limit the ways and means through which my good appears. Divine ingenuity brings my perfect supply from every direction, every day, through doors seen and unseen, under grace and in perfect ways. This decree serves as a master key that quiets the grasping mind, opens the imaginative faculty, and signals the universe that you are prepared to be delighted rather than merely relieved. Let the stories of others feed your faith in divine ingenuity, collecting them like precious gems. The tailor, whose forgotten skill became a thriving side income after a single conversation at dinner, the teacher, whose simple handout transformed into a digital course purchased by thousands, the gardener, whose surplus herbs birthed a fragrant and profitable enterprise. Each story represents a letter from the same intelligence, addressed directly to your consciousness. Be ready, be flexible, be joyful. I can bring your good from anywhere, through anyone, at any time. When your own story begins unfolding with its perfect turns and timely arrivals, speak gently to any part of you that wonders about worthiness, reminding it that you receive from the infinite, which diminishes no one as it enriches you, and that the channels divine intelligence chooses are as numerous as the stars that shine in the limitless sky of infinite possibility. Within the sacred architecture of successful manifestation lies a divine triumvirate that serves as the bridge between your spoken word and its tangible fulfillment in the physical realm. Release, gratitude, and prepared reception form the holy trinity that completes the manifestation process, transforming your faith-filled declarations from invisible seeds into visible harvest. These three principles work in perfect harmony, creating an irresistible spiritual current that draws your declared good from the realm of pure potential into the world of form and substance, often through channels that exceed your highest imagination, and arrive with timing that demonstrates the perfect orchestration of divine intelligence. Understanding this threefold completion is essential for many who speak their word with conviction, wonder why their demonstrations seem delayed or incomplete. The answer lies not in the power of their declaration, which remains perfect and immediate in the spiritual realm, but in their ability to create the optimal conditions for reception through the masterful practice of release, gratitude, and prepared reception. These are not passive waiting periods, but active spiritual disciplines that align your entire being consciousness, emotions, and physical environment with the frequency of your fulfilled desire. The sacred art of spiritual release. The first movement in this divine dance is release the complete and joyful surrender of all anxiety, worry, and mental manipulation concerning how, when, and through what channels your good will appear. This release is not resignation or abandonment of your desire, but rather the highest expression of faith, demonstrating absolute trust in the infinite wisdom and perfect timing of universal intelligence. When you truly release, You step back from the driver's seat of manifestation and allow divine mind to orchestrate the perfect fulfillment of your declared word through methods that often transcend human logic and exceed mortal imagination. The human mind, with its linear thinking and limited experience, naturally attempts to trace the logical steps from desire to manifestation. Yet this mental strategizing severely restricts the boundless creativity of universal intelligence, which operates according to principles that far surpass human understanding. Your role is to clearly define what you desire and speak it with unwavering faith. The universe's role is to determine the perfect channels, timing, and methods for delivery. When you attempt to control the how, you inadvertently limit the infinite to your finite comprehension, creating resistance in the very flow you seek to enhance. Practice the liberating decree that opens all channels. I cast this burden of financial worry on the indwelling spirit that knows the way. I am free, and the perfect path is revealed. I do not limit the ways and means through which my good appears. Divine intelligence brings my perfect supply through channels known and unknown, under grace, and in perfect ways. This conscious release creates a spiritual vacuum that universal mind rushes to fill, often with solutions far more elegant and effective than anything your limited human planning could have conceived. Release also encompasses the sacred law of forgiveness, for unforgiveness creates energetic knots that constrict the flow of abundance. Resentment toward past financial disappointments, anger at those who owe you money, or bitterness about previous losses all serve as invisible barriers that block your channels of supply. Speak the healing word. I forgive and release all grievances related to money. I free everyone who has caused me financial difficulty, and I am freed to receive my perfect supply now. Divine justice makes all things right, and I trust this perfect process completely. Gratitude as the currency of the spiritual realm. The second principle, gratitude, serves as the universal currency that circulates freely throughout the invisible realm, creating an irresistible magnetic force that draws more of what you appreciate directly into your experience. This is not ordinary thankfulness for things already possessed, but the profound spiritual practice of expressing appreciation for what exists as completed reality in universal mind and is now making its way into physical manifestation. Advanced gratitude bridges the gap between the unseen and the seen, creating a consciousness that lives in the fulfilled wish before the fulfillment appears in tangible form. When you give thanks for money that has not yet appeared in your bank account, but exists as divine reality in the spiritual realm, you demonstrate the unwavering faith that activates spiritual law. This grateful recognition creates a vibrational match with your desired good, drawing it to you through the magnetic force of appreciative acknowledgement. Express heartfelt thanks with deep feeling. I give thanks for the perfect supply that is now manifesting in my life. I am grateful for money flowing to me from expected and unexpected sources. Thank you for refunds, opportunities, gifts, bonuses, found funds, and rightful returns that are now appearing in perfect ways. Cultivate daily gratitude that encompasses both the magnificent and the mundane, recognizing divine orchestration in every form of supply that appears. Thank for the parking space that opens at the perfect moment, the helpful information that arrives precisely when needed, the unexpected discount that saves you money, and the chance encounter that opens new possibilities. These expressions of appreciation for seemingly minor demonstrations increase your consciousness's sensitivity to divine activity and create channels for even greater manifestations of abundance. The multiplication effect of gratitude operates through the spiritual principle that what you appreciate appreciates. Give thanks for the $5 in your wallet with the same reverence you would show 5,000, and the universe responds by sending larger amounts to match your grateful recognition. Bless every coin that passes through your hands with the decree: you are divine substance made manifest. Multiply and return increased, blessing all whom you touch. This conscious blessing transforms ordinary money into sacred substance that carries your grateful energy wherever it goes. Prepared reception as active faith. The third principle, prepared reception, represents faith translated into action, trust made visible through practical readiness for your incoming good. This preparation involves creating space in your life, your environment, and your consciousness for the abundance you have declared, treating it as already accomplished reality that simply requires appropriate arrangements for its reception. Prepared reception demonstrates to universal mind that you are ready, willing, and worthy to receive the good you have claimed through your spoken word. Physical preparation begins with creating order in your financial affairs, for money loves organization and flows more readily through well-prepared channels. Reconcile your accounts, organize your files, clear your workspace, and establish systems capable of handling increased abundance. Open a special account designated for unexpected income, create a file labeled New Money Opportunities, and prepare invoices or proposals that can accommodate larger amounts. These actions are not attempts to force manifestation, but demonstrations of faith that signal your readiness to receive. One person, after organizing a 40-ish, long-neglected filing system, discovered forgotten assets worth hundreds of dollars. Another, while preparing space for increased business, attracted 3 new clients within a week of completing the organizational work. The universe appreciates order and responds more readily when you demonstrate preparedness through practical action. Create physical space by releasing what no longer serves your highest good, declaring as you clear, I create a vacuum for my perfect good, and the universe fills it with exactly what I need for my highest expression. Mental preparation involves expanding your consciousness to accommodate unlimited good, stretching your capacity to think in terms of more than enough rather than barely adequate. Practice visualizing yourself handling larger sums of money with ease and wisdom, making decisions from abundance rather than scarcity, and managing increased prosperity with grace and generosity. This mental rehearsal prepares your consciousness to want to apport, recognize, and receive greater good when it appears, preventing the self-sabotage that often occurs when abundance arrives to an unprepared mind. Emotional preparation requires cultivating feelings of worthiness and readiness to receive abundant supply without guilt, fear, or beliefs about unworthiness. Many unconsciously limit their receiving capacity through deep-seated beliefs that prosperity is somehow inappropriate or undeserved. Heal these limiting beliefs with the affirmation, I am worthy of all good things. Divine love desires to express itself through me as abundant supply, and I receive this blessing with joy and gratitude. The sacred rhythm of daily practice. Integration of release, gratitude, and prepared reception into daily practice creates a powerful spiritual routine that maintains optimal conditions for continuous manifestation. Begin each morning by releasing all financial concerns to divine intelligence, expressing gratitude for the perfect supply that is manifesting, and taking at least one practical step to prepare for increased abundance. Morning practice might include the decree, I cast every burden of financial worry on the indwelling spirit that knows the perfect way. I am free, and my perfect provision appears now under grace. Follow with heartfelt gratitude. I give thanks for the money that is flowing to me now from expected and unexpected sources. I am grateful for the perfect opportunities that are being prepared for me today. Complete with prepared reception, I prepare to receive my good with joy and wisdom, and I take right action as I am guided by divine intelligence. Throughout the day, maintain consciousness of these 3 principles by immediately releasing any anxiety about money matters, expressing gratitude for every form of abundance that appears, and remaining alert to opportunities for practical preparation. When you receive money, count it with gratitude and prepare a place for more. When you pay bills, do So, with the consciousness of circulation rather than loss, blessing the money as it goes forth with the decree, go forth and return increased, blessing everyone on your way. Evening practice provides opportunity to review the day's demonstrations, expressing gratitude for all forms of supply received, releasing any concerns about tomorrow's provision, and preparing consciousness for the next day's opportunities. Keep a gratitude journal specifically for financial blessings, recording every form of abundance that appears from found coins to major windfalls, recognizing each as evidence of spiritual law in operation. Living in the consciousness of continuous flow. The mastery of release, gratitude, and prepared reception creates a consciousness of continuous flow, where supply moves through your life like a river that never runs dry. This consciousness recognizes that money is not meant to be hoarded in fear, but circulated with wisdom and blessing, understanding that what flows out creates space for more to flow in. Practice blessing money as it leaves your possession, whether through bills, purchases, or gifts, declaring, "I bless this money as it goes forth to serve its perfect purpose and return to me multiplied and increased." When old channels of supply appear to close, immediately apply the threefold principle. Release the channel with blessing. Thank you for your faithful service. I free you and free myself for greater good. Express gratitude for what it provided. You carried my supply faithfully, and I honor the abundance we shared. Prepare for new channels. I enlarge my capacity and open to receive from fresh sources that exceed my current imagination. Live in the consciousness of answered prayer, conducting yourself as if your financial needs and desires have already been perfectly met in the invisible realm and are now manifesting in perfect timing through ideal channels. This consciousness does not anxiously await results, but rests in quiet confidence, knowing that what has been set in motion through faith-filled declaration must come to pass according to spiritual law. The practice of release, gratitude, and prepared reception transforms the entire experience of manifestation from anxious striving to joyful cooperation with divine intelligence. Through this sacred trinity of principles, you discover that abundance flows not through struggle and manipulation, but through the harmonious alignment of your consciousness with the infinite supply that eternally seeks expression through willing, grateful, and prepared channels. In this consciousness, money shows up from unexpected sources, not as surprising accidents, but as the natural demonstrations of spiritual law operating through a heart that has learned to release with trust, appreciate with joy, and receive with graceful readiness. There exists within the grand architecture of spiritual law a sacred principle that serves as the golden hinge upon which all demonstrations of lasting abundance swing. This principle encompasses right action, wedded to unwavering integrity, moving in perfect harmony with the eternal law of circulation. While your spoken word ignites the invisible forces, your faith-based expectation creates magnetic attraction. Divine ingenuity arranges the channels, and prepared reception opens the gates. It is right action, clean, prompt, honest, and obedient to inner guidance that receives the arriving good and sets it in graceful, perpetual motion throughout your entire financial experience. Right action represents faith translated into physical movement, trust made visible through practical demonstration. It is the swift hand that signs the contract without apology, the orderly workspace that signals readiness for increased business, the timely response that demonstrates respect for opportunity. Right action does not attempt to force doors that should remain closed, nor does it hesitate when divine timing swings them wide. Instead, it listens closely for the still small voice of inner guidance and moves immediately when direction comes, neither rushing ahead of spiritual instruction nor lagging behind when the moment for action arrives. This principle of right action operates through the sacred law of obedience to intuitive guidance. When that inner nudge whispers, "Send the proposal now," the document goes forth immediately. When intuition suggests, adjust your pricing, the figures change without trembling or second guessing. When the still, small voice says, organize your files, drawers are cleared, systems are established, and space is created for new opportunities to take root and flourish. These seemingly small acts of obedience to inner direction often prove to be the precise actions that position you perfectly for unexpected demonstrations of supply. The sacred atmosphere of integrity. Integrity creates the spiritual atmosphere in which divine substance feels completely at home and chooses to linger and multiply. Money, being crystallized divine idea made manifest in form, responds favorably to truthfulness and honesty, while recoiling from any form of deception or manipulation. The person who consistently keeps promises, honors all agreements, communicates with clarity and transparency, and promptly remedies any errors establishes a powerful magnetic field of trustworthiness that naturally attracts continued business, loyal clients, repeat customers, and perfectly timed opportunities that seem to appear effortlessly. Integrity speaks plainly and confidently about value without inflation or false modesty. It names its worth clearly, offers discounts without hidden conditions, and pays all obligations with dignity and blessing. When you conduct your financial affairs with complete honesty and transparency, you stamp your entire money consciousness with what may be called paid in full energy, whether today's payment represents the complete amount or merely a portion of what is owed. This energetic stamp of completion draws more completion to itself, creating a powerful attractive force for fully satisfied accounts and abundantly met obligations. The practice of integrity extends beyond mere business dealings to encompass the hidden accounts of the heart and mind. Resentment toward those who owe you money creates spiritual overdrafts that block your channels of supply. Blame and bitterness function as hidden fees that compound daily, creating energetic debt that must be cleared before abundance can flow freely. When someone fails to pay what they owe, refuse the bondage of resentment and speak the liberating decree: I release this person to divine justice and perfect right action. My compensation comes from the inexhaustible source, and if not through this channel, then through an even better one. I am fully, richly, and immediately supplied by the unfailing law of divine provision. The dynamic law of circulation. The law of circulation operates as one of the most fundamental principles governing all sustained abundance, declaring that what flows out must return multiplied and increased. This law governs the movement of breath, the circulation of ideas, the flow of love, and most certainly the movement of money through your experience. Just as the exhale creates space for the life-giving inhale, and the released seed ensures the eventual harvest, money that is circulated with wisdom and blessing creates channels through which even greater abundance can flow back to you. Money grows weary and loses its vital energy when hoarded in fear-based accumulation, but it sings with joy when sent forth with clear assignment and noble purpose. When you circulate money with conscious intention, giving generously where you are guided, paying joyfully for services received, investing wisely in tools and training that increase your capacity, and offering tips with a generous heart, you carve spiritual highways that supply remembers and travels repeatedly. These pathways widen with each passage until they become mighty boulevards of continuous increase. As you circulate money, bless it with the powerful decree: go forth and bless every hand you touch. Serve your perfect purpose with joy and return to me multiplied, under grace, and in perfect ways. Through this conscious blessing, you transform every payment from a loss into an investment, every purchase into a prayer, and every expenditure into a seed planted in the fertile soil of universal mind with the expectation of abundant harvest. The sacred art of generous giving. Within the law of circulation lies the profound spiritual practice of generous giving, which serves as one of the most powerful methods for activating continuous increase in your financial experience. Giving, when performed with an open heart and a consciousness of abundance rather than sacrifice, becomes a dynamic declaration of faith in the infinite and inexhaustible source of all supply. It is a spiritual investment that yields returns far beyond mathematical calculation, often manifesting as opportunities, connections, ideas, and resources that could never have been purchased with the original gift amount. The spiritual foundation of giving rests upon the unshakable truth that you cannot outgive the universe. Every act of generous giving, motivated by joy rather than obligation, creates a powerful vacuum that universal mind rushes to fill with even greater good. This giving need not follow any particular religious formula, but should flow from the sincere desire to bless others and acknowledge your connection to the infinite source of all abundance. Practice systematic giving by dedicating a portion of all income to causes that uplift humanity, support spiritual growth, or provide genuine service to those in need. Whether this portion represents 10%, 5%, or any amount that feels joyful and sustainable, the key lies in consistency and the consciousness behind the gift. The universe responds not to the size of your offering, but to the spirit in which it is given. A modest gift offered with genuine joy and gratitude activates the law of increase far more powerfully than a large donation given grudgingly or with resentment. Practical stewardship and sacred order. Right action in financial matters includes the noble art of practical stewardship, recognizing that you serve as a trustworthy channel through which divine substance flows to bless and serve. This stewardship begins with creating and maintaining order in all your financial affairs, for money loves organization and flows more readily through well-prepared and carefully tended channels. Reconcile your accounts regularly, organize your files systematically, and maintain your workspace with care and attention. Money appreciates neat ledgers, straightened shelves, and organized systems. Many have discovered that the simple act of organizing their financial records leads almost immediately to the discovery of forgotten assets, unexpected refunds, or overlooked opportunities for increased income. Order serves as a silent invitation that announces to the universe, we are prepared for larger demonstrations of abundance. Practice punctuality with joy in all your financial dealings. Meet deadlines with a cheerful spirit, respond to messages promptly, and keep appointments as sacred covenants. The universe regards punctuality as evidence of readiness and trustworthiness. When you honor time's small promises faithfully, larger promises begin keeping perfect time with you. Payments arrive precisely when due, important calls come exactly when needed, and opportunities present themselves at the most advantageous moments. The blessing of fair exchange integrity in financial matters includes the practice of fair exchange offering balanced value for balanced compensation. Let your pricing be honest and your quotes transparent, avoiding any hidden fees or concealed conditions that might diminish trust. The customer, who feels genuinely respected and fairly treated, becomes a herald of your integrity, and such heralds build bridges of reputation that no amount of advertising could construct. When presenting your value to the world, speak with quiet confidence about your worth. Many people unconsciously limit their receiving by shrinking from dignified requests for appropriate compensation. They mumble their prices, apologize for their fees, or wait in uncomfortable silence for others to guess their value. Instead, lift your voice with clarity and present your offerings as blessings rather than burdens. State your prices with calm assurance, knowing that the right compensation flows easily and joyously to those who offer genuine value with integrity and love. Daily practices for maintaining flow integration of right action, integrity, and circulation into daily practice creates a powerful spiritual routine that maintains optimal conditions for continuous financial flow. Begin each morning by blessing your workspace, your tools, and your opportunities with the decree, you are instruments of divine increase. Perform flawlessly and prosperously under grace, serving the highest good of all concerned. Throughout the day, Practice conscious money management by blessing every financial transaction. When you receive money, count it with gratitude and immediately prepare space for more. When you make payments, do so with the consciousness of circulation rather than loss, understanding that what goes forth in service must return multiplied. Keep a daily record of all forms of abundance that appear from found coins to major windfalls, recognizing each as evidence of spiritual law in perfect operation. Evening practice provides opportunity to review the day's demonstrations of right action and circulation, expressing gratitude for all guidance received and followed, all integrity maintained, and all abundance circulated with wisdom and blessing. This daily acknowledgement strengthens your consciousness of the law's reliability and increases your capacity for even greater demonstrations of sustained prosperity. Living as a clear channel. The mastery of right action, integrity, and circulation transforms you into what may be called a clear channel, a trustworthy conduit through which divine substance flows freely, joyously, and continuously. In this consciousness, money becomes not a demanding master, but a willing servant, eager to flow through your life in service of noble purposes and righteous goals. You discover that abundance comes not through manipulation or struggle, but through the harmonious alignment of your actions with spiritual law, your integrity with divine truth, and your circulation with the eternal rhythm of giving and receiving that governs all life. Through consistent application of these principles, you establish yourself as a lighthouse of integrity in the world of commerce, a beacon that attracts ships laden with opportunities, partnerships, and resources. Your reputation for fair dealing, prompt action, and generous circulation precedes you, opening doors that remain closed to those who operate from fear, dishonesty, or stinginess. In this consciousness, you become a blessing to everyone whose life you touch, and the universe delights in channeling ever-increasing abundance through such a clear, clean, and willing vessel of divine love, made manifest in practical, prosperous action.